The Biden administration approved the use of long-range missiles against Russia for the Ukraine war. And I wonder, what happened to the anti-war Democratic Party? Why are we providing those missiles right now? Is this another escalation? Could this lead to something worse? The Democratic Party has traditionally been the anti-war party. It has been the party looking for peace, finding resolutions, finding ways to work around the problem. But it seems that in recent years, especially on that regard, it has switched. The neocons from the Republican Party, the people that are always for wars, they wanted more wars and more money for wars, and they didn't care because none of their family was affected by that situation. They were for that. But it seems that the Democratic Party right now has flipped the script on that regard, and they're making Ukraine as the existential threat. Because if you don't support Ukraine, then Putin is going to take over Russia. But I ask this question: has Biden made an attempt to have a conversation with Vladimir Putin? As far as I know, the Ukraine has not improved their situation from the invasion in 2020 till today. Why not try a different strategy? A strategy? Why not have a conversation like you would do in any negotiation? There's clearly a side that's losing. And unless the US is able to support it to a certain extent that they can push back Russia, what's the point? Because you're not going to be able to provide them with the arms without engaging on a escalation with Russia, which for most people would be unnecessary and unwise. And this is the thing that I have wondered with many of the people that I know that are my friends that are Democrats. And anytime that I ask these questions, oh, do you want Russia to take over Europe? Are you stupid? Can you not think that there's no, either you support Ukraine or you just let Putin take over? That's such an idiotic way to think or process the information that I just gave. If you're having a disagreement with someone, either you go deal with that situation, or you can talk about the problem without escalating the situation, because many times it's not worth the escalation. And I'm pretty sure most people don't want an escalation with Russia. I'm pretty sure the Russians, they don't want an escalation either with the United States. It's a lose-lose game. Yes, the US has superior military technology, but they have nuclear weapons. They have more nuclear weapons than us. They even have something that's called a dead hand. Even if Russia is dead, like there's nobody that can push a button, missiles will automatically launch. Just in case you guys don't know. So escalating a situation where Ukraine has been losing. They have been losing territory since the start of war, as I'm going to show you here in this panel. They have been losing significant amount of land. Why not have a conversation? Let's say if Putin doesn't want to actually negotiate, then you can get more support and you can help Ukraine in a bigger way. But there's not even an attempt to actually do that. And this is the part that definitely bothers me. Why? Why the discrepancy about the Ukraine war? Are you is it really because you want to just replace all your old weaponry and give it to Ukraine, that way you can use that money and replace the US with new weapons? Maybe if you give them your old tanks and now you replace it with a newer tank, maybe you're gonna be in a better situation. Is that the reason? I wonder those things, because nobody wants an escalation. Nobody wants Putin in Poland. Nobody wants a bigger situation that has been currently happening in Russia. Nobody wants more people dying. And according to the Biden administration, the reason they're providing these weapons is because there's an agreement with North Korea and Russia, where North Korea is going to provide troops for the front lines to the Ukraine war. And the US is kind of trying to be preemptive with giving this long-range missiles. That way you guys give some context. So the original missiles that Ukraine had a reach of around 50 miles. and these new ones can reach up to 190 miles. So they're able to heat them further before that front line makes it to you. To a certain extent, it makes sense, but to the other parties, why is never an attempt to actually have a conversation about this problem? And this is why I say the Democratic has become the party of war. There's no single de-escalation. They talk about the approach that the left wants to have about Palestine. Why not have the same talk about Ukraine? Ukraine has been losing land. Ukraine has been losing people. Yes, the Russians have been losing people too. But nobody wants the war. I think the steam of the support, it's not there anymore. And what's going to happen? Ukraine have lost hundreds of thousands of people. They lost the land. And they have to now find a peace deal where they're in a worse situation than they were a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, when they had a potential peace treaty at the beginning of the war. Unfortunately, I think that party, I think we all can agree that that party's long gone. It's not longer there. But hey, I'm still ranting about these issues because there's very few cases where I am going to be supporting a war. I can understand it from the Ukraine perspective because you're being attacked. But there's ways that you can improve the situation without more people dying. And the fact that the only solution that the US has is providing more weapons, it seems that there's not really any interest of having less people die. And I will leave it at that.